Good morning. The question today is whether you need to believe anything in order to be able to practice. Does the practice of meditation require some metaphysics? And the answer is no. There are metaphysics involved in Buddhist study. Of course, you can think of things like incarnation, reincarnation, as something that might require a change in belief structure. But there's nothing occult or mystical in the practice of meditation and all of the accomplishments and realizations that come along with that, up to and including the experience of the enlightened mind. It is a practice, not a belief. Now, you do need to have faith, right? And maybe this is just a word game, but you need to know that the practice will work, right? So maybe you need confidence. It's easy. It's easy in the early stages, but it's actually easy at any point to question why we do this, why we sit, why we watch our breath, why we practice mantra, why we do any of these things. And the answer to that doubt is confidence in the outcome of the practice. And that confidence comes from scrutiny. Like if there's anything in the practice that doesn't hold true, that doesn't work, then discard it. And if at the end of it you've discarded everything because it doesn't work, then fair enough, right? Nothing bad is going to happen. You aren't going to be punished for your lack of belief. In fact, if you can come out and explain why none of the meditation practices work, you'll probably be lauded and applauded for your clarity of insight, right? So the idea is that there are statements that are made, and you should approach those statements with confidence that they are a working hypothesis. And to date, for many people over many thousands of years, they have yielded results. I have confidence in those results, and so I continue to practice. But I don't need to apply any undocumented belief structure to that. Now, I do hold to karma as a set of rules, and karma is one of those words that can sound metaphysical, but really isn't. Karma is cause and effect. My hand is warm because I'm holding a hot cup of coffee. I have a hot cup of coffee because I brewed coffee. I'm enjoying this cup of coffee even more than I usually do because yesterday I received a shipment of coffee from Equal Exchange. I buy a 5-pound bag of beans, their Midnight Sun Roast, which has come to be my favorite roast. I haven't drunk that roast since last summer. Last summer I made a decision to try different blends for half a year, and I've enjoyed many of them, but none of them as much as I enjoy this. So now I drink it. The act of drinking is tied into all of those preconditions. Right? So karma for me is a rule like gravity is a rule. There's no judgment implied in karma, which I think is an appendage an accretion that we've put on it in our Western use. Oh, that's karma. You've done something bad, and so something bad will happen to you. Well, that may be true, but it's because of cause and effect. It's because of the cultivation of certain types of mindsets and certain types of behavior. It's not because there's some judgment that is out there. If I lie or slander, for example, then that will probably rebound on me in some negative way in the future. That gets into Socrates and Can an unjust man be truly happy? Unjust person be truly happy, even if they're not found out for their injustice, disjustice? None of that is a faith structure, right? The stories of like emanations and deities that are part of the Bon tradition, you don't need those structures to practice Buddhism. You know, I find them helpful. I go in and out, up and down on the idea of how external these images are. But, so did Jung, right? Like Jung talked about the externalization of the internal psyche, and I think that's something to explore, but it's an exploration and a scrutinization of this experience. Whether these images we conjure up are merely extensions of the self. What does that mean when we have already served notice to the idea of a permanent self, right? So the outcome of the enlightened mind is guaranteed if you practice. That's the statement. And everything we do is to check that. And we can adjust and adapt and pick up bits that help and discard bits that don't. Because the stated aspiration is a mind free of distraction, a life free of suffering for the self and for others. And kind of however you get there, the metaphysical structures around Buddhism actually don't interest me that much, including some of the ritual elements that are built in. I think all traditions have some kind of ritual element. I like them. I find them beautiful, and I do find that there's an experience that's associated with them that can be a helpful experience, but it's not. I also found it a helpful experience to run marathons, a decade ago. Excuse me. A better YouTuber would edit that out, but I'm not going to, because this is a teachable moment. Everything is a teachable moment. So, do you need to believe anything? You need to believe that the teachings are there to be practiced, to be questioned, to be absorbed, and to be utilized. And if at any point in that you find that the answer is no, that it fails, then try something different. And that's why there's so many different types of meditation practice and instruction. And everyone will benefit. I think a related question to this, do you need to believe anything, is can anyone meditate, and can anyone achieve the enlightened mind? And the answer to that is yes. This is a difficult question, but I remember I don't worry about this so much now, but early on it seemed unfathomable to me that people who appeared to be wicked had Buddha nature. I could conceptually understand it, that we're all humans, but where I've landed with this now is there are some people who are heavily occluded, heavily obscured, and it might take more than one lifetime worth of practice to scrape off all of that. But at the core, everyone has Buddha nature, meaning everyone has the potential to achieve enlightenment. So think of the wickedest people you can imagine, and this often comes up in class. Someone will come and I'll make those kinds of statements like enlightenment is available to everyone. And it sounds like I'm saying that some kind of sense of salvation or redemption is available to everyone. I also think that that is true. But someone will say, well, what about Hitler? All right, what about Genghis Khan? Like, again, pick the wickedest person. What about some serial killer, right? The answer is yes, they do have Buddha nature because humanity has Buddha nature. And yes, the practice of meditation will remove that karma and expose the enlightened mind. But no, it doesn't mean that you have to like them or love them or even teach them how to meditate, because it's not up to you or me, it's up to them. And it may never happen. We may never experience the Buddha nature of the people who appear wicked to us. But the danger there is that what appears wicked to me may not be truly wicked, right? I mean, there are some... Hitler's a good example, but even Hitler was an innocent child at one point, right? So this is where the confidence in the practice can be challenged, but scrutinize it, scrutinize the thinking. I'm using Hitler to represent the embodiment of all that we recognize is wicked and evil, but you can replace it for whatever you want. But go back and just think, at what point did that person become wicked? Were they born that way? Probably not. Maybe born with physiological, neurological damage of some kind that causes them to behave in a way that we think is unacceptable. But that's different from wicked, right? That demands a different response that isn't necessarily punitive. So, again, these are the kinds of challenges that I bring to my practice because I'm very interested in sharing the Dharma with the sense that it is all truly available to everyone. And when I make those statements, these are the kinds of questions that come to me. That you will have different questions, different challenges, different skeptical observations, and let me know what they are. Share them with this group. Let's talk them through and see where it lands. Anyway, I hope you all are enjoying your morning beverage as much as I am enjoying mine, and I will talk to you again soon. And in the meantime, as always, keep your wits about you.